Today, a whistleblower from the Central Intelligence Agency, the CIA, came before Congress and gave testimony that the CIA and the American government has known all along that the COVID-19 virus, by the way, supplied by our lab, because we make bioweapons too in Fort Dietrich, Maryland, to Communist China at that Wuhan lab, was released there, causing COVID-19. More confirmation. We didn't need more confirmation. We know exactly what the story is. Now, this has been covered up because the hard fact is that we gave the seeds of COVID-19, the SARS virus, to the Communist Chinese with a grant of about $2 million during the Obama-Biden administration. So we are a cause of COVID-19 as well, and it's being covered up, just like anthrax was after 9/11. That came from that same lab, and it was released. This is what you're dealing with the American government. It's what I wrote about in my latest book, It Takes a Counter-Revolution, Wake Up America. You can't believe a word the government tells you. It's like lawyers. In fact, most of the people in government are lawyers. Of course, the expression is, how do you tell when a lawyer's lying? He's moving his lips. And that's coming from a lawyer who has to deal with other lawyers continuously. That's why I founded Judicial Watch in '94 and later Freedom Watch, because I wanted to see an ethical system of justice and hold the lawyers and judges accountable. In fact, it was Shakespeare who said, let's kill all the lawyers. Now, I'm not advocating hurting anybody, but he meant that rhetorically, because these lawyers and the government, of which they're embedded, frankly, like cockroaches, and I use that term several times in recent days, including that applies to the Iranian regime. These people are pathological liars. Now, we're doing something about it. We've been doing something about it. Freedom Watch has a class action lawsuit in the Northern District of Texas, in Dallas, Texas. And that case has been sitting there. We did serve Communist Chinese. They ran from the service of process, the process servers, DHL, Federal Express, you name it. And we finally got it served through the State Department at great expense. Now, when that happened, the Communist Chinese, through their embassy in Washington, D.C., wrote a letter, a strong letter to the Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, that disgrace of a Secretary of State under Biden. Weak-kneed. He's the one who actually participated in the false information about President Trump, all kinds of things. They threatened the United States through Blinken. He then sent it to the Attorney General under Biden, the Biden Attorney General, Merrick Garland, saying that, and that letter said, from Communist China, sent through the embassy to the State Department to Merrick Garland, it said that if this court proceeds with the case that Larry Klayman brought under Freedom Watch for a client, Buzz Photos in Dallas, Texas, that had been harmed by COVID-19, that there would be retribution against the United States. It was a threat. It was even a threat potentially for physical violence by the Chinese. And the judge just decided he's not going to do anything. He's going to sit on it. Okay, and that's where it's been. And we are now moving the higher court to force him to take action. We now have definitive evidence the Chinese were responsible. Frankly, along with the United States, we're actually going to amend the complaint for the victims of COVID-19. Not the United States under Trump, but the United States under Obama and Biden. So this is where we are today. This is a textbook example of the corruption of the legal system. It's a textbook example of how federal judges in particular play politics. This judge obviously was protecting the Obama-Biden administration and what they had done. And in addition to that, I think he was scared for his own safety. But Larry Klayman is not afraid. Freedom Watch is not afraid. You cannot be afraid. And the purpose of this lawsuit is to get compensation for those individuals, class actions, all of whom have been hurt by COVID-19. Now, this is relevant today because now we have a new virus that has come out. I mispronounce it all the time. The hornavirus or whatever it's called, and it comes from rats. Okay, perfect. The other one came from bats. Anyway, this is something that has to be dealt with, and because of the fear that this new virus can cause a pandemic, we need to hold the COVID lab and the Obama-Biden administration accountable for what happened in COVID-19. Please go to freedomwatchusa.org. Contribute to our cause with tax-deductible contributions. We are your real Justice Department. freedomwatchusa.org. Now, I want to say something as well as what's going on in China today with President Trump. He's over there trying to do yeoman's work. I'm sure that he'll get a number of good concessions in the worlds of trade, economics with China, but he should not be messing around with China and Iran. He needs to do what needs to be done. It's now been over a month since he declared a ceasefire. He really declared it because he didn't want to have to proceed with the high gas prices, with the stock market, with the midterm elections coming up. He took a hiatus. But now it's over a month. The Iranians, that is the regime, this evil regime, yes, they're cockroaches too. This evil regime has had time to regroup, to reorganize, to rearm. And now we're going to have to go in under difficult circumstances and finish them off because they made a laughing stock of the president. The president has been getting down on his knees, begging for peace. And in fact, now all the major experts on the military, including General Keane and Fox News, say he's got to act. He's got to act. Mark Levin suggests that he should act. Mark Levin's scared to actually tell him straight up because Mark wants to have his ticket to the White House maintained. Mark Levin is more interested in kissing one's derriere than actually talking to the president. And he does have influence with the president. And I think Mark's very bright, but he's a coward. We cannot be cowards. We at Freedom Watch are not cowards. The president needs to be called out on this. He has humiliated himself. He has gotten down on his knees. He's begging for a peace agreement. And the Iranian regime is just throwing a pie in his face. Now is the time to act. And he should not be asking the Chinese for help. We need to do what we need to do. You cannot trust the communist Chinese. That goes without saying. So that's my message for today. You can see how we're always at the cutting edge at Freedom Watch. Go to freedomwatchusa.org. We are your Justice Department. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for your support all these years when I was at Judicial Watch and now at Freedom Watch USA. We need your help. Uncle Sam needs you. Uncle Larry needs you. Uncle Freedom Watch needs you. The American people must do it for ourselves because our government, frankly, are a bunch of pathological liars, as I've just said, and we have to mete out justice in our own right, including citizens' grand juries. And Fauci needs to be tried. We did try him, as a matter of fact. He got 20 years for negligent homicide. Now that needs to be enforced. God bless you. I'll be back tomorrow with another special podcast. Until then, remember, the Father and Son will only help us if we help ourselves. Thank you for listening to me.